Hi everyone, we're going to find the exact value of composition of inverse functions. All of this set for part 1 is where the inner function is the inverse function. So to find this angle, we're looking for the angle here. So this will be cosine of our angle. We need to deal with our inner function first. And we know since it's inverse, our restrictions are from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. Meaning we're in quadrant 1 and 4. So, and this is where sine equals, if I take this out and rewrite it, and you set it to theta, then you move this sine over, so you have root 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2 equals sine of theta. You just move the sine over. Where is that angle? And it has to be in either quadrant 1 or 4. So in quadrant 4 it has to be negative. So basically, we know that our angle is pi over 4. Then you merely substitute your angle for cosine, so you get cosine of pi over 4, and we know that that equals square root of 2 over 2. So basically, you're just setting the inner function to the angle and solving that way. So this one, it's the same thing. We want to know what sine of theta is, whereas this is our angle. So first we have to find the angle looking at this. So we set this to our angle, move the cosine over, and remember that for cosine, our restricted domain has to be in quadrant 1 and 2, or between 0 and pi. So we know our angle is going to be pi over 3. And you can look at your tables. On the previous video, if you have those 3 tables, you can look at those and also find it. But anyway, then we just do, since our angle is pi over 3, you set, you figure out sine of pi over 3, and we know that that equals the square root of 3 over 2. Okay, the next one, we're going to look at this. This is our angle. So we set this to our angle, and then move this over and take away the inverse part. So we know we have to be, our angle has to be in quadrant 1 or 2. And so where is this angle going to be? And we know our angle is going to be 5 pi over 6. So then what you do is just set tan of 5 pi over 6, and you can just look on your circle and you know that that's negative square root of 3 over 3. Okay, the next one, we're just setting this to our angle. So basically, we have sine of our angle equals negative 1/2, where our restrictions are between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So basically, what you're going to get is negative pi over 6. Now remember, when we restricted the domain here, we're in quadrant 1 and quadrant 4, but we're starting at negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So it's right in here, but it's still negative pi over 6. Okay, so then you do tan of negative pi over 6, because we found our angle. And tan of negative pi over 6 is negative square root of 3 over 3. We'll go a little faster. We just set our, this is our angle, where it's 1/2. We know we're in quadrant 1 or 2. So my angle is going to be pi over 3. And then we just find secant of pi over 3. And secant of pi over 3 equals 2. I just looked in the unit circle, and I know secant is 1 over x, and did it that way. Now here we do the same thing. We take our inner function and write sine of theta equals negative 1/2. Our restrictions, again, are negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And so I know my angle is going to be negative, because in quadrant, this has to be in quadrant 4. It's going to be negative. So for this one, we get our angle is negative pi over 6. So this whole thing equals negative pi over 6. So I need cotan of negative pi over 6. Cotan of negative pi over 6 equals negative square root of 3. All right. Dealing with our inverse function, we know that tan of theta, our restrictions are negative pi over 2, and it can't equal it to pi over 2. So where is tan 1? Our angle is pi over 4. And then you do cosecant of pi over 4. And cosecant of pi over 4 equals square root of 2. And the next one, do the same thing. Set our angle to square root of 3. Since it's positive, I already know we're in quadrant 1. I'm not going to worry about the restrictions. So where is our angle that going to be? Our angle is going to be pi over 3. And then you just do secant of pi over 3. And secant of pi over 3 is 2. And now this one, I am going to worry about the restrictions a little more. We have tan of our angle equals negative 1. And our restrictions are quadrant 1 and quadrant 4. So it's going to be negative. So I know my angle is negative pi over 4. So we do sine of negative pi over 4. And sine of negative pi over 4 is going to be negative square root of 2 over 2. All right, same thing. Our restrictions are in between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. I know I'm in quadrant 4 because this is negative. So my angle is going to be negative pi over 3. It's not 5 pi over 3 because we still have to deal with the negative. So now we deal with cosine of negative pi over 3. And cosine of negative pi over 3 is 1/2. Because this is in quadrant 4 and cosine is positive in quadrant 4. This is almost the same thing. We have sine of theta equals negative 1/2, where our restrictions are in between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So my angle is going to be negative pi over 6. So then you just plug this in, because that's what this equals. So secant of negative pi over 6 equals 2 square root of 3 over 3. And the last one, cosine of theta equals negative square root of 3 over 2. That means we're in quadrant 2, because cosine is negative in quadrant 2. So my angle is going to be 5 pi over 6. And then you just use your unit circle and figure out what cosecant of 5 pi over 6 is, and that equals 2. Okay, the next video, part 2, is going to be where the inner function is the not the outer function's the inverse function, and the inner function is just the function. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.